Hello, everybody. Welcome to the SBDC's webinar, and you certainly have a quite a treat in store for you. We have Kasha Johnson, who is a marketing expert who empowers brands to grow their business and stand out in the digital space through impactful branding and authentic content. And she's the founder and CEO of Merge Forward. She leads a full-service agency that specializes in brand development through integrated marketing campaigns. She's also the creator of the social content creation Made Easy Academy for small businesses. It's a course that helps entrepreneurs, brands, and individuals rocket social media by creating purposeful content quickly and turning followers into customers. And she's a Polish-born Texan with an entrepreneurial spirit who enjoys traveling for creative inspiration. And she's got, speaking of that social media academy, she's got some interesting news to tell you about that going on. So without any further delay, I will introduce Kasha Johnson. Take it away.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I am so happy to be here. Thanks for having me. Want to make sure everybody can see my screen. We also have a chat that's open. So as we go along through this presentation, if anybody has any questions or any concerns, please go ahead and put those in there. Jonathan today is our moderator. He's on my team. He's super awesome. And you can see my slide right here. I'm going to go back really quick. We do have more webinars that are on the McLennan website, so go ahead and take that link and you can visit that. And then also, if you want to see a recording of this webinar, you can easily go to the YouTube channel. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And like I said, if you have any questions as we're going along, we are going to have some time towards the end to answer those questions for you. And there is I have some great news coming up also too. So welcome to the webinar. My name is Kasha Johnson, and this is how to grow your business in 3 easy steps with social media without the constant stress, the frustration, and the doubt. So I'm going to be really excited to share all these processes with you. I do recommend to grab a notebook, a pen and paper, so that way you can take notes, because there's going to be a lot of information on here. So first of all, today I'm going to show you how you can kill it on social media with amazing content and start growing your business with confidence. So that way you have the right content working for you. So as soon as you start transforming into these processes, when you're starting to create intentional content, it's going to be a game changer for your business. So my promise to you is to give you tons of advice today. It's going to give you clarity. It's going to give you confidence. It's going to give you consistency for your brand. And that way you never, ever, ever have to wonder again where your content is coming from or your next client. So you can totally do this. I bet for a lot of you, this is not your first try at social media, and that's totally okay. I want to assure you that if you failed in the past, that is not your fault. There's so many unknowns with social media. It's very confusing, very overwhelming. And so don't let that overload to keep you from succeeding in social media. You can totally do this. I've gone through a lot of the frustrations too, and I'm going to share all my experiences and how I went past those. So put all those fears to the rest, and I'm going to give you a bunch of clarity with a bunch of processes today. And then if you guys can please stay with me till the end, because not only do I have a very special announcement for you guys, but I'm also going to share with you guys my favorite app that I use to design social media posts really quickly. It's very easy to use. And I actually added on the 6 tools that I use to create social media content with my team. So this is going to set you apart, all these tools. It's going to make you look a lot more professional. So there's probably a lot of reasons that you're here. Reason number 1, you're starting a business and you're ready to start that and be finally your own boss and do what makes you happy. And that's awesome. And you're looking for that growth. And you know that social media is very vital to almost any business today. And you're wanting to know how to get started. So I love being an entrepreneur. I think it's so worthwhile. It is a crazy ride, but to me, it was always very worth it. Or reason number two, you might be struggling to create social media content. So you are a business owner, but you struggle creating that engaging content on a consistent basis. And you're committed to the growth, but you have trouble finding those ideas and finding that time. Totally been there many, many, many times. Or reason number three, you're lost. And you know that you need better content out there, but you have no idea where to start. Or even better, maybe you're just trying to pick up a new skill. You know, this is one of those skills that everyone should know how to do. So everyone struggles in social media, even the big brands with big budgets. It's not just the small businesses. And as an agency owner, I run a marketing agency also. I'm also a small business. I see it all the time. And we're lucky enough to work with startups, Fortune 500 companies. And so let's face it, nobody ever teaches you how to be a rock star at social media. It can be very overwhelming. It was for me when I first started. So here's the thing. Once you determine your whys and you learn the step-by-step processes, you'll be so much further along than any other business and well on your way to reaching that potential, that growth, and those sales. So whatever reason that you are here, I want you to know that I'm here to support you all the way behind that growth, whether that's for your personal brand, your business, or you're just learning a new skill. So I'm going to go into a little bit about myself, my background. I've been in marketing forever, totally aging myself, but at least 2 decades. I started off in college in marketing, and then I worked at agencies and businesses, and I started my own agency about 8 years ago. And like I said, we've gotten to work with a variety of businesses, even nonprofits, and it's been really great. We mostly focus in our agency on social media, and that's on the strategy side, on the implementation side, creating the content, writing the copy, and then even some training for execs because they're in their late 40s, 50s, and they don't know how to use social media, but they need to be a thought leader in their industry. And so when I started my business, it was a little bit of struggle here and there, but it allowed me to test a lot of these processes and ideas that I could do on my own business first and on my clients. And now I can share them with you. And I will be totally honest with you guys. When I started telling my own story through social media, when I started really being authentic and creating content that really mattered, that's when my friends and colleagues and clients noticed. And that's where the wave of business came. So I've been, approached for many years, to teach this. And I thought, what's the best way to do this? And that is to create these webinars so I can share my knowledge with you guys. Also, my team and I, about 1.5 years ago, created an online academy that is a 5-week-long academy that is self-paced. And we have some exciting news for you guys a little bit down the slides about this. There's going to be opportunities where you can join this academy at no cost to you guys. Luckily, we're working with the McLennan SBDC. They have been very wonderful to work with. And because of the CARES program, they're here to support all the small businesses. I know that for a lot of you, because of COVID times, it's been, very trying on a lot of businesses, especially the small ones. And so they're here to support you. They're offering this webinar for you guys for free. And then they're also offering a lot of scholarships to the Academy. And I'll let you know towards the end how you can apply for that. And then, of course, let's not forget the consultants that are the advisors that are with the SBDC. If you haven't taken advantage of that, please do so. And if you have friends that run small businesses, have them reach out to the McLennan SBDC. I'll give you Tim's information at the end with his email address. You're going to get an advisor at no fee. These are mentors that are going to help you troubleshoot your problems in your business. They have tons of experience. And again, it's consulting at no charge. So let's get to the social media part and how it impacted my business and then how it can impact yours. So The only way for you to exponentially grow your business or your brand is through social media. And the only way to build up your social media is through consistent posts and engaging content. So I started out my business as a single mom in my kitchen with no money. It just was a computer. And I had some contacts, I was making calls, and it was hard to make ends meet. It really was in the beginning. My kids were really little, and I wasn't connecting to those potential prospects, or not at all getting even the results that I wanted through traditional marketing. And traditional marketing was costing a lot of money back then, and it still kind of does now. So that was a really big lesson for me. And what I realized that I needed prospects to trust me in order to close the sale. And my missing piece was that consistent, authentic, engaging content. So the moment I found my voice, I got more specific and personal on social media, transparent about my business. People could look me up, they could research me other than me making a phone call or giving them a business card. That's when I got noticed, my sales went up, referrals were coming in, and that same process worked for all of my clients. And so now it's much easier finding clients because we get to work with Fortune 500 companies and other amazing, businesses. And, honestly, the social media content was really the reason for the growth to my business. So let me take you back just a little bit. About 8 years ago, I was begging for business because I was just starting out. I really was like anybody and everyone. And then the second year, I doubled my sales. So that was really awesome. But year 2 and 3, I couldn't sustain that momentum, and I was overworked because as business owners, we wear a lot of hats, and which is good and bad. We get to learn a lot and a lot of experiences, but at the same time, we really need to be accountable for our time. Year 4, that's when the economy started changing and it started affecting my income. And then the new clients, was really hard to find them. Everybody was cutting their budgets, and I'm in marketing. So as soon as the economy's not doing well, the marketing budgets get cut. So it was very frustrating. And when you get frustrated, then the doubt comes in and everything else. And that's not where we want to be. So year 6 is when I pivoted. I started to invest more into my social media, and I used it to connect with clients and prospects, and I was showing my authentic self. But the best part is I was just always popping up in feeds and staying top of mind. So I was constantly on LinkedIn and in front of my prospects, in front of people. And especially now where everything's going digital, we're all working from home with these times during COVID. It's just really important. That's just really the way that we can connect with everyone. So then year 7 and 8, it skyrocketed because I was getting those referrals. Not only were clients asking me for more projects, but then they were referring people. And it was really great. And I think the most important part of that is the mental mindset, because now my business is thriving. I'm exceeding my profits. My confidence grew, and I got more respect and support. And then I had the flexibility. And in all, mentally as a small business owner, it can be very challenging. So having that there, having that growth, and then moving in a direction that was really supportive has just been really, really great. So imagine what it would feel like if the social media was working for you, generating leads and turning that engagement into revenue. So how proud would you be of your business when you're creating that content consistently and everybody wants to engage with it? And imagine how that would feel to turn those leads into sales. So I'll show you guys a quick example right here of what I'm talking about. When you're creating that engaging and purposeful content, social media content means you will be finding prospects, or they will be finding you. They will be looking out for you. So here's a perfect example. I got a text from Paul. He's been in the same business as me, and I got this a few weeks ago. And it said, "Hey, hope you're well. Seeing a lot of posts from you on the social channels. Boom. Give me a buzz tomorrow or Friday to get caught up and discuss a brand development call that I'm putting together for this project." And this project is huge. It was really, really big. And this is an actual text. I asked Paul if I could use it because it was a perfect example of people reaching out saying, "Hey, I see you all the time. You're in the top of mind. Let's work together." So let's get right into the 3 steps for social media to creating that engaging and purposeful social content quickly. And when I say the 3 steps, there's also going to be the learning of how to increase your visibility, how to have a concrete plan of action, and to create a business that will set you apart. And when I say engaging content, I mean you're going to attract the right customer. And when I say purposeful, bringing you money. So you guys ready? This is a good time to take out that pen and paper because we're going to get started. So step number one is to determine your target audience and bring them tons of value. So your content resonates with the people who truly want to do business with you. So this way, all your efforts for creating content are right on track and profitable from the start. So you know the power of social media. You guys know that everybody is using it. 3.5 billion people worldwide and only growing. So being on social media is not only the foundation for your business, but it's free. Like, why not take advantage of free marketing? So you're thinking, okay, do I put content where I spend time? That's not always necessarily good for your business. And so I'm going to give you guys an example. Like, I love Pinterest. I love designing stuff all day long. I love tagging little boards and crafts and whatever else, but I should not put my content out there. And I learned this the hard way. Side note, I was using all the channels that I loved, and I love shopping on Instagram, and I was putting my content out there, but my target audience wasn't out there. They're on LinkedIn. And then what happened is I ended up posting something that was very authentic and very true to me, but it's still part of my business, but it was as a business owner. And I got tons of engagement on it, but the most engagement was on LinkedIn. And that's when I realized, oh, I'm on the wrong social channel. So the more specific your target audience and what channel they spend their time on, the greater impact your social content will have. And a side note, you don't always have to have tons of followers. Sometimes it's just good to have awesome content about your business that's transparent about you as a business owner out there. So that way, when I come visit your business, or I want to do business with you, maybe you're a pool company or a decor company, event company, I can go to those social channels and I can see a story about your business, and it's authentic and it's builds that trust. I'm like, okay, they're legit. I want to give them my money because they're legit. So you need to determine your ideal customer so you can market to them directly and not waste any time communicating to the masses. So you want to find your audience pain points and come from a problem-solving perspective. That way you're more relatable and you're less salesy, because people, they don't want to do business with salesy people. They want to do business with authentic people that they can relate to. So I have another story for you guys of me failing again. So the failures are good though, because it's an experience and I can share them with you. When I was starting out my online academy, I didn't have an audience. I didn't have any clients or anything really. And so a friend of mine, we were talking, and she's like, well, I run a yoga studio, but I have like this whole list of the DFW area people that you could, market to. And it was a list of like 4,000 people. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll take it. So I took 3 weeks to the side and I created all these emails, 3 different emails. I hired a copywriter, which cost me money. And I spent lots and lots of hours putting all this together. And I sent it out and I was like, I'm going to be rich. This is so awesome. Sent it out. I got 0 response. Actually, no, I actually got negative response because people unsubscribed. And I was like, what the heck? And what I realized is that they didn't know me at all. Number one, they didn't know me. I didn't spend any time dating them. I just threw it all out there. It was like, hey, buy from me. And then secondly, they weren't my target audience. When I looked at the list, they were all directors of marketing at high companies. It would have worked for my agency maybe, but not for the course, because they're already directors of marketing. They didn't need it. And so major failure, but it helped me pivot and really figure out, okay, who is my target market? Who am I really wanting to serve? So the quicker you determine your target audience, the sooner you can start creating that engaging content that will get you noticed and be truly impactful for your business. So maybe you're already on social media and you're just stressing out over what to post every single day, spending a lot of time generating content, but not seeing that results. been there. Maybe your posts get a lot of likes and comments, but you can't track that to your business profits. Or maybe you're posting to one social channel, but your ideal customer is on a different social channel. So when you determine your target audience, it will take your social media to the next level. So let's do another example real quick. Let's say I'm an interior designer. If I'm an interior designer, my business is a lot more visual. It would make a lot more sense for me to be on Pinterest over Twitter. But if I'm a tech company, it makes a lot more sense for me to be on LinkedIn over Facebook, because Facebook is more of a family-oriented and older-oriented social channel. LinkedIn is a lot more business. So when I started out, I was going after anyone and everyone, and I had ended up with horrible clients. They were taking up 80% of my time. They had bad budgets and they were just so demanding. And it was really frustrating and very doubtful. And I just was like, God, if I could have the best customer, who would that be? And that's when the light bulb went off and I said, okay, I really need to figure this out. Who am I really going after? And today, bigger clients, they pay on the monthly retainer. And it's great because, they're eager to work with me because I built that trust, and then they send referrals my way. So when you don't identify you don't identify your target audience, you will run into a lot of issues. And that's, again, being a salesperson to everyone, coming across very impersonal or indifferent to your audience, wasting a lot of time creating a bunch of content nobody really cares for. And if people don't know you, they're not going to buy from you. And, we're here at social media. I mean, it's all about connecting people and connecting businesses. So, and I have a lot of clients that struggle to take that content and turn it into profits. And they think they have to do all these flashy posts and crazy videos and spend all this time. And that's not it. It really isn't. You can't please everyone, and you don't want to. You want to make sure that you're geared towards your ideal customer, and that ideal customer is willing to spend money with you and have a connection with your business. So let me give you guys one more example. This is Jody. She is a real estate agent, and she also manages vacation rentals. Those rentals are spread across the western half of the United States. And Jody's a student of mine. She went through my program. And in order to fill those homes, she took to social media to generate a bunch of inquiries with very broad targeting. But she struggled keeping those homes filled. And here's the reason why. When she started researching the target market and the local attractions and the local, resources. Here's an example, by the way, of one of the places that she manages. It's a Facebook page, and it's I Love Sedona. What she discovered is that what made one home appealing to one person was very different from another home. So what that means is that each home location had a different target audience. So somebody who may want to visit the desert may not want to visit the beach, and the people that want to visit the beach may not want to visit the mountains. So when she got very specific around those areas and tailored that content to that area and all the attractions, all the restaurants, all the trails and things like that people could do, that's when everything grew for her, and her audience continued to grow and become very engaging. And now she gets over half of her inquiries from social media booking those homes, which is great. It's great. It's lots of growth and potential there. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of an exercise too. I want to make this very actionable. I don't want to just motivate you. I want to make sure that there's some steps involved and that you guys can get started right away. So if you are struggling to figure out who your target audience is, a really quick way to figure it out is to research your competitors online, and then find them on different social channels and bookmark the best pages. So then finally narrow it down to your 3 strongest competitors and look at what kinds of content and they're creating, what kind of comments they are getting, and how they're responding. And then look at the posts that are getting the most engagements, and then check out their followers and go look and see what those followers look like. Are they moms? Are they, men that are around tech or anything else like that? And that will really help you with the process. So again, when you determine your target audience, your business can grow And then you know exactly how to engage with them, and it becomes much easier to expand your following. So I'm going to speed up a little bit now. We're going to go into step 2, and this is align. We're going to align your business and social goals to relevant content types and clear calls to action that will grab the attention of your ideal target market. So this is one of the most important lessons, because your social media goals will determine the reason you're creating content in the first place. And you want to make sure and align your social media goals to your business goals. So did you know that not all social activity is good activity for your business? In the beginning, I spent a lot of hours, I'm sure some of you have experienced this too, is just putting anything and everything on the channels. And sometimes my content got attention, but not always. And it was really frustrating. And I was like, why am I always posting this? And what I realized is I didn't make the connection between my business goals and my social media goals. So every brand will have different goals. I can give you guys a couple examples. For instance, one business may want to just sell or launch a product or a service. Another one may want to increase awareness around a topic or an issue. Another person may want to just grow their fans and followers because maybe they want to be an influencer. Or, there's also people who just want to build their credibility and control their reputation. Maybe they're a politician, maybe they're a CEO, maybe they're looking for a new job. So those goals are really your foundation. So when you align your goals to your content, then your audience will grow. So you will need to determine the types of content that you're aligning your business goals with. And don't worry, I will give you a list of those to make it really easy. And then that content will bring value to your audience, and then that'll create the engagement. So if you're not posting things that are relevant to your brand and it doesn't relate to your business at all, your audience isn't going to remember you. And it's more about your audience, like what they want to learn, how they want to be entertained, how they want to be engaged, what problems are you solving for them, and can I trust you to do business with you? Like, who are you really? So let me give you a list of some of the content types of what I'm talking about. This is what we use for all of our clients to organize their content. So we're never sitting there the day before saying, hey, what are we supposed to post? And usually we ask a business to pick about 3, your 3 top ones, and you can sprinkle in a couple more. So the content types we're going to talk about is inform. So this is where you can educate, you can give product information, company information, the questions, answer questions, tips, tricks, how-tos. And this is a really big one for most businesses. Second, you can motivate. This is inspiring quotes, touching stories, maybe something about your employees. Another one can be connect. You're humanizing the brand. Images of your employees, images of people working there, the culture, the lifestyle of your business. Maybe your business does volunteer work. That would be great to showcase too. Anything to do with the human aspect. We also have lead. This is where you can be the thought leader in your industry. This is where you can take a stance on an issue. This is where you can continue to educate, but from your point of view. We've been lucky enough to work with AT&T, and a lot of the execs at AT&T, would create a bunch of white papers and things like that, but then they took it onto social media to where now there's a face to the content, and also now they're a thought leader in their industry, and it worked really, really well. And then this could be also for small businesses too. Maybe there's a small business that that you do of crafting or something like that, or maybe you make decor of some sort, and you can take people through the process, or even embroidering a t-shirt. What are the things that I need to know before I do that, and who am I, and look, I've owned this business forever, and here's my experience, and you can definitely come to me because I know what I'm doing. So another one is celebrate, is recognize. You can do individual awards, highlight great work, customer highlights. This is great for anybody that maybe is more in the photography space, for instance, and you can show a gallery of your content, all your pictures. Entertain, that's behind the scenes, exclusive content. This one works a little bit better when we're going to conferences, but give your audience something fun. Or maybe it's even the back of your business, like, show them something that is being created in your business. Maybe you're a food truck and maybe, you've got something cool that you're creating that morning. And then you're engaging with the people that are buying, whatever you're selling. And then that could be a really fun, great story. So it's a great opportunity to be authentic there. And then finally promote. This is where we can do giveaways, contests and things like that, and be a little bit more salesy. So I hope that helps you guys understand on how to start creating that content and putting you in that process. I'm going to give you an example of how I do it, so that way it's relatable. So on the next slide right here, for me, my supporting content types are going to be to inform, to motivate, and to entertain for my business. My business goal is to sell and launch educational products. So first I'm going to inform. This is where I'm going to teach how to build your brand, how to showcase your social media. And I'm going to use my expertise and my education on social media to do so. Secondly, I'm going to motivate. I enjoy sharing the entrepreneur journey, the struggles, my life, and inspiration of how I got there. I get asked a lot, and people also enjoy that, but I still always relate it back to somehow to my business, at least as a business owner. And then third, we're going to entertain. So we're going to go behind the scenes with my business and my life. Like for instance, doing these webinars, or whenever we start traveling again, I used to go to conferences and I used to do live videos from the conferences and say, hey, this is what I learned. So my post frequency, let's say, is going to be 5 times a week. Our recommendation, if you're getting started, I would say post 2 times a week. You can go up to 3. We would rather see you post for 6 months, 2 times a week, than post for 1 month, 5 times a week, and burn yourself out. That long-term consistency is what's more important for your audience. And especially on LinkedIn, for instance, you don't want to post that much anyway, and that's a lot of work. And at some point, you can start reposting posts that you did 6 months ago. It's okay to bring those back. So we're going to take it down just a little bit more in detail. So on Monday, this is if I'm posting 5 times a week. On Monday, I'm going to inspire. So maybe something about entrepreneur life, related quotes or stories. Tuesday, educate. So I'll share tips on social media. Wednesday, I'm going to inform. So I'm going to do a marketing or business tip. Thursday, I'm going to entertain. So I'm going to go behind the scenes of my day. And then Friday, I'm going to motivate and motivational quote. And this process takes the guesswork out of what type of content to create. Now, the other part to that content is having a calls to action. This is a really big piece to consider because you really want to ask your audience what they need to, or you really want to tell your audience what they should do. So ask yourself when posting, like, what is it? Where do I want them to go? And this is how you're going to move that potential audience to follower and then to customer. So let me give you some examples of calls to action. Whenever you do a post, you can ask them to say, hey, follow for inspiration. You can say share or comment on the content. You can say, hey, click to my website, click to my blog, click to my profile. It should be really easy for anyone, whoever goes to any of your social channels, to be able to take that next step, hopefully within 1 click, to go to your website link, or go to, a blog, or go to a podcast, or wherever, hopefully to go and purchase or the service or the product. You want to make it really, really easy, even on LinkedIn. If I want to connect with you, make it super, super easy. Sign up for a newsletter, get some discounts, promotions, contact us for more information. Say that in the copy. Go ahead and buy our product if you're interested. So with all these calls to actions, the audience really knows what to do. So a quick recap before we go into step 3, your foundation to saving you tons of time is those business goals, because that's the clarity and consistency. The content types, because that takes the guesswork out of what you will be posting. And that's clear calls to action. So that way your audience knows exactly what to do. Okay, step 3. This is the growth part. So you're going to grow your social content with proven processes that they're easy to implement. They're going to streamline your social and they're going to be very effective. This is a total game changer. And I did this honestly for me at first because I was running a marketing agency. I'm doing kid pickup and all this. I mean, my life was just a little nuts. It still is, but these processes make it so much easier. And I didn't have an amazing team like Jonathan to help me out at that time. And we still all wear a lot of hats. And so the ironic part is now my team is focused on doing social media for all my other clients. So I'm still doing a lot of my social media. So creating these processes, like there was no other choice. I had to make it really quick and easy. So, this is going to be a very exciting step because now you're starting to produce that relevant content and in the most efficient way. So think about growth also in different ways. Growth in managing your social media, growth in the quality of content, and then growth in business. And I'm going to share with you a quick few strategies that get you started right away. So the faster you have a plan in place, the quicker you can start marketing and branding through valuable content and then watch your business grow. I've been there where there's just like no movement in your business and it's really frustrating. And it's really, really, like it gets you doubtful. And the thing is when you have that plan in place, it's going to be a huge game changer. So people spend more than 3 hours a day on social media. And I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot. And I honestly think it's even more. But the interesting part about that is that half of that time is used researching brands and products. That is huge. Like we're researching and a lot of that time we're also buying. So give you guys an example of where we are today. I like to use the business card example. I'd say maybe 20 years ago, we would all go to these networking events and I'd be like, hi, Tim, it's nice to meet you. And be like, hey, Kasha. And I'd be like, Tim, thank you for your business card. And I'd give him mine and I'd go home and I, put that business card in my wallet, or I would have it on my desk, or remember the Rolodex, the old school Rolodex. Maybe I would staple his business card to the Rolodex. And then if I needed something from Tim, I would go to my Rolodex, go down and, and call him. But the thing is, it doesn't work like that these days. These days, we're like, hi, I'm Kasha. Hi, I'm Tim. Tim gives me his business card. I go on my phone. I look him up on LinkedIn. I connect. Usually the business card gets thrown away or put to the side somewhere. And now there's a digital connection. And so it's a lot different. And that's the way you need to think about your business these days. It's really that digital connection. So you want to set up your brand on social. So when people research you, they can find you easily. And when they do find you easily, they get a great impression. And that's where a lot of that social content is going to come in. So take advantage of the opportunity. My goal is to take you from that reactive, unknown place to a confident space with your social media content. So that way it's painless to create. And again, when you don't have a plan and process, you're just going to end up going in circles. And that's where the frustration and the doubt comes in. And then you're just doubting, should I even be doing this business? And we don't want to go there. So we definitely want to go the opposite way with a plan. And no matter the type of business that you're in, you're going to need a content plan to grow. You should definitely at least spend 30 minutes to an hour. I know that's a lot for small businesses because we do so much, but spend at least 30 minutes to an hour a week just planning out your content, planning out your social media, and even maybe working on your website or something around marketing and something around your business. So and engaging, so these types of processes, creating this engaging content on social work for all of our clients across all different industries, from realtors to startups with workout supplements to small businesses like plumbers to Fortune 500 companies. I mean, we've been lucky enough, my team and I, where we have sat at these big executive, meetings, and we get to meet their social media team, and they're all using the same processes. They're just using a roadmap. Theirs just takes a little bit longer because there's just more people involved. But it's honestly the same. So that roadmap keeps you from diverting and gives you a concrete plan of action, saves you a lot of time. It helps you stay relevant, and you can share that process with your team members. If you have other people in your business, that's the best thing, is that once you create these processes, you can just have, your assistant help with a lot of that content. She can start creating those content types for you 3 months ahead. Holidays are coming up, create a content calendar, and I'll get into that in just a little bit. It's actually the next slide. But they can help you. So now you're saving more time because you're more organized. And then you'll be more relevant because you're aligning that content to your business goals. And yeah, you can share that process with team members. And it'll make it go so much quicker. So let me show you how I make it really actionable. I start off with a content calendar every month, and we use Google Drive because it's just easy. I can find it, and other people can go in there if they need to. So this content calendar will have the date that I plan to post, the content type, which we talked about, whether I'm going to inform, educate, motivate, and then the creative asset, which I will show you how to create fairly easily. And that's either a photo, a design, or maybe some content that you're posting from somebody else. You don't always have to create your own content. You can repost significant, articles in your industry. And then copy, hashtags, and then links, if any. We do usually recommend, again, that call to action, or click this link to take them somewhere. So you're going to create this content calendar, and mine is a couple months ahead. When I get going on it, I usually try to create it 2, 3, 4 months ahead, and then I can pull out of it, work on my business. And then every Monday meeting, we kind of review and we switch things around. Like maybe there's a holiday coming up or something, so we'll switch some things around. So I do mine in 2 sittings. At first, I add the content types, and I organize my photos and my design posts. The second sitting is I write copy and add hashtags. And then I hire a low-cost freelancer to schedule this content using software. We use Hootsuite. We absolutely love Hootsuite. Now, there is a calendar version in Hootsuite. You can use that if you feel more comfortable. But it kind of looks like this, except for you save your content as drafts. But either way, you want that content calendar. And so now you're probably wondering, well, okay, great, but how do you create all that visual content so quickly? So here's my secret. I do batching content creation. And it's amazing. It works really great. So it's a game changer too. And anybody that you see that's very successful in social media, they're also doing this, because there's just no way that they're creating it the same day or even the same week. So let's start with the graphics portion. For my audience, they resonate really great with motivational quotes, especially they have to do something around business. And I always tie it back to my business. So let's say, I'm going to post these maybe twice a week or even once a week. So let's say I do it even once a week, that's 4 posts for every month. 4 times 12 is 48. Math is not my 48. So let's just say I need 48 posts for the entire year. I definitely go into my branding guide. I'm like, okay, my main color is going to be blue. My fonts are going to be about this. I went out and did 2 things. One, I took kind of a quicker way. I actually Googled quotes, business quotes, and I purchased a bunch of them. And then I also listen to podcasts and a bunch of entrepreneur books that I read, and I will put it in my phone. So I just went through and made a list of 48 quotes. So then I went to some competitor sites and I looked at what they're posting, and I picked out some of the designs I liked. And then I hired a freelancer. You can use Fiverr, 99 Designs. Fiverr is great for the small stuff. When you hire somebody, start them on 1 or 2 quotes. Don't give them all of them yet. You want to see what the results are. You guys, I hired somebody, they did 60 quotes for me. I was done with the graphic portion of my content, and I uploaded all into my Google Drive. We are still using those quotes. They're done. It was so much easier to get it done all at the same time. Now, I do have an app I'm going to share with you guys in a couple slides towards the end that can also create this if you don't want to hire somebody. And it's really quick. You can do it on your phone. And I love this app. And I don't usually stick with apps very long. And this is one of those I have used for about 4 or 5 years. So this is the part of the graphic part. And then whenever, I'm planning my social content, I can just pull these quotes down, and I already have my motivation Wednesday, content done. Okay, so now let's talk about the photography. I do, think that the photography is really important. Let me see. There we go. Because it humanizes your brand. It shows a lot more about your business. It doesn't always have to be you. Again, it could be employees and, conferences and things like that, or even, when you're out on the job. I created these with a basic phone. I mean, it is nothing fancy. I do have a camera, but I bought the least expensive Canon. So don't think you need to invest in all this photography gear and stuff like that. No, you can use apps like Lightroom, or there's another one I'll share with you guys to just make them so much easier. You don't have to have Photoshop. You can do it all on your phone. And then I take these pictures in bulk. Some of these pictures were taken at WeWork. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. There's like community workspaces. I went there on a Sunday. I set up my own tripod and I just used the timer. I didn't even have a photographer. Sometimes I pulled my kids in to help me do that. And I changed outfits 12 times. And I was like, okay, here we go. So at least that gave me something. I put my hair up, put my hair down. I'm not kidding. And then again, you can have, pictures of your product. That would be great. Team, whoever's helping you work, maybe you're out somewhere, just something fun. Maybe you own a store, take pictures of the store, people, shopping at the store. So I always carry my camera with me if there's ever an opportunity. So again, when you do have the photography, it does humanize the brand. And it's great. And there's the other half of your content. And don't forget, you can always reshare content that is in your industry. That's also great because it makes you look like you are taking advantage of what's going on in your business, in your industry. Now, we're going to up it just a little bit more. And we're going to go into stories real quick. Stories are the way to go, but I know they take so much more time. And the way that I figured it out, all of these things that you see here at the top, the 3 at the top are actual posts. I do social media tips. I do, every brand has a different goal, for instance. And honestly, all these tips, I didn't rewrite them. I actually take them from my academy. I took them from blogs that I've created. I've taken them from presentations before, copy paste. I stuck those in Canva, design them real quick, or sometimes you just hire somebody out on Fiverr. And there's tons of talent out there for like minimal cost, and boom, I already have it. So if there's something you're already teaching out there, maybe in real estate, you have a packet of like, hey, before you buy a home, think of these things. Perfect. There's something to, there's a post right there for you. I just made them longer and I stuck them as social stories. So the same post, and I just used it on my stories, just not the same day. So I'm repurposing the same post I put out there, just not on the same day. And it makes it so much quicker and easier. So I hope that this helped you. Here's some of the things my students are saying. Having this framework has reduced my time I spent on social times 10 on their content. Once I saw the benefits of using a social plan, the stress went away, which is exactly where we want. And, there's really no other way to get ahead. It's just makes a huge impact having these processes. So I hope that helped you guys a lot. Remember that the secret to growing your business on social media is creating that content quickly and efficiently. And those processes may take a little bit more time at first, but once you implement the 3 steps, it will accelerate your productivity so quick. And feel free to bring in your team members too. They can help you out. This is something that you guys can do together. So we're gonna do questions in just a second, but I'm gonna just touch base on LinkedIn really quick for a second, because I do think that this is really important. Then I'll talk about the scholarship opportunity, and then I'm going to share with you guys my favorite app and the 6 tools. And we're going to go through this really, really quickly. But if you haven't done so already, go ahead and optimize your LinkedIn. This will be your homework for the day. Go into LinkedIn, because no matter what kind of business you're running, LinkedIn, you do need to be there as the business owner. And also LinkedIn is not as tough on all the algorithms as Facebook is. So your content is going to be seen more. When you are optimizing your LinkedIn account, remember that this is a social platform for professionals. So a lot of executives are on there, a lot of decision makers are on there. So you definitely want to put your best face forward, a little bit of an older audience, 30 to 64, which, those are the ones that are making a lot of the decisions and now have the money to make it. And then they're also one of the most educated audiences and affluent audiences online, which is great. And when you are in your LinkedIn profile, you want to definitely have that engaging photo. Make sure that your setting is set that everybody can see your photo. Sometimes I can't see your photo because we have to connect first. But I will tell you that the mind processes images 600,000 times faster than text. And so when I see your photo and I see a smile, and it's a somewhat professional photo, that's where I really engage with you and I remember you. Your headline can be descriptive, but it can also be fun. It can show a little bit of personality to you. And then have a killer summary that's written in first person. Your background image should be something related to your business. So when I look at this image, I know exactly what you're doing. If it's something that is around like a plumbing services, maybe there's a plumbing truck, or maybe around a restaurant, maybe there's the front of your restaurant or some kind of food that is like on your specialty. Again, because that mind processes that visual content so much faster. And then that way I know exactly what you are doing. And then let's not forget an easy way for somebody to contact you. About 3 weeks ago, I needed some business insurance. I did not have a referral or anything. I went to LinkedIn. I looked up a bunch of people. I found a girl I really wanted to work with because I looked at her profile. I'm like, okay, she's been doing this for a while. She knows what she's doing. Couldn't connect with her. Now I could connect with her over LinkedIn, but I wanted her email or her phone number because I needed it then. I needed it like within the next 2-3 days. And I knew that if I just pressed the connection link, I was just going to wait and see, maybe she sees it, maybe she doesn't. So on your LinkedIn, make sure that there's a phone number or at least an email address on top of your website. And then here's an example of mine. As you can see, it's got my picture, very professional, headshot from up, and you can easily create this with your phone. And then, it tells exactly what I do, my agency, and exactly what I do. And then my company website to connect with me. And then whenever you go into the About section, I do have a video that I talk about, getting a free consultation for strategy. And so I like putting that there because on the video, you can really see my personality and I explain my business. And then notice how I wrote my About. It's very clean and easy to read. There's returns everywhere. So it's not this huge paragraph and just a brain dump. And then at the bottom, I put my specialties and I listed them out. I said, my specialties include boom, 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 boom. It's very digestible. And that at the end, I went ahead and put in my contact information again, in case this is the way you want to connect with me. You will always have my number and you will always have my email. So now let's talk about the Social Content Creation Made Easy Academy. This is a scholarship opportunity to the small businesses that the McLennan SBDC is offering. It's very generous of them. Let me tell you what's in this academy, because if you like this webinar, there's a lot more info in this academy. It is self-paced. This is where we're really going to determine your target audience, but you get a worksheet to do it with. We're going to find your brand voice so you know how to speak to your audience. You're going to learn how to leverage the social channels and why, which social channel works best for your business. We're going to create a branding guide. So that way, you know what colors to use, what fonts to use, and then you're going to take that over. You can use it in all your marketing, but also in your social media content. We're going to solidify your content types. We're going to dive much deeper into it. We're going to learn how to produce creative assets. And I'm going to take you step by step on how to create something graphic, how to create a photograph really well, how to create videos. And then we're going to start generating that social content really quickly. And we're going to streamline that content creation and set up your social channels. So we're going to go through and make sure all your social channels have everything that they need in there. And then you're going to master the social engagement and copywriting. The copywriting is really important, that you have the right tone and the right voice towards your audience. So this social content creation made easy academy, it is listed at $497, and it comes with 3 training modules with 3 lessons each, which is 15 lessons. And again, this is self-paced. You go online, you can do it at your own time, but we do, my team and I, we do like to pop in the middle or towards the end and come back and do another Zoom with you guys to make sure that you're fully supported and that you have any questions on social media that relate to your business. So you get that too. And then you've got all the guides. You can download these PDF templates. There's checklists, there's schedules, there's examples, and all of it's downloadable, which is really great. So not only do you get that academy, but you also get to be a member in our Facebook group. So that way, if you ever have any technical issues or just the social media question, you can get a hold of us right away. You can post something up there and, we get a hold of you within a day. And then there's also a bonus in there that's really helpful. And it's a digital audit checklist. And that helps you uncover any disconnects on the digital space. And that goes into SEO, and it goes into your website, and it goes into a little bit of the social media. And don't worry, it's very understandable, because I know all those elements they can get a little tricky. And so it's a checklist, and it explains exactly what you need and do you have it. And then it can kind of give you a current standing. So there's 12 scholarships available. If you are interested in this, contact Timothy Holdcamp. Here is his email. Write it down. You can also purchase it at startmetoday.com. But like I said, there's 12 seats available. So there's plenty for the small businesses. And I know that during COVID, it's been really tough on a lot of the businesses. So go ahead and apply. Email Tim, and he will get you all the information. And then you can start in this academy, and then hopefully we can see each other again. So write down Tim's information right there. So that way you can apply and have this opportunity. And we have tons of students already on, a lot of small businesses. And so it's been really, really helpful for them. We're getting amazing feedback. Everybody is really enjoying it, and they're learning tons, and they're able to implement it to their business. Okay, so I'm going to go really quickly into, we're almost done. Going to go really quickly into the, sorry, my computer froze for just a second. Okay, here we go. We're going to go, technical difficulties. Oh, come on. Okay, it's going ahead. The top 6 tools that I use to grow social media, my social media, and get noticed. Snapseed number 1, it's an app that you can download. Everything here is either free or fairly inexpensive. I believe Snapseed is either free or it's like $5, but I've used it for 6 years. And it's like Photoshop on your phone for all your images. You can lighten them, you can push the ambiance. Really, really easy to use. Lightroom is also great, but you do need presets, and Lightroom comes with some presets. It's part of Photoshop. That it's really great. You can put your picture in, and then you can go into those presets, pop, 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 and it'll brighten your image really quickly. Canva, I'm sure you guys have used Canva. Love Canva because there's so many free tools available. And we just realized that you can actually create animation or text on your videos. So I pick a template, and then I pull in my video, and then I actually can put content on that video, which gosh, 5 years ago, that would have cost a lot for an animator to do. I mean, it makes it so easy. Cut Story is a great app if you're doing stories on social media. Let's say you have a video that is a minute long, but we know that a lot of the stories are either 15 seconds for LinkedIn or Facebook, or 20 seconds, and it needs to be cut. You just pull in the video and it cuts it for you, and it gives it a little bit of a buffer in between. So that way, when you're speaking, it doesn't cut your voice off like that. It does a really good job. And I believe Cut Story is about $5 too, but I also can edit my videos on my phone really easily with it. And then Google Drive is free. We use it all the time. Love Google Drive because my whole team can use it. We don't use Dropbox anymore because we have to pay for that, and Google Drive is great. I've got my folders in there for social media, and I've got photography, I've got my stories, I've got my graphics, and I just pull down. Super, super easy. And then Hootsuite is what we use to schedule our social media content. That runs now about $45. I think that's a little pricey, but we use it anyway because I can schedule to like 9 of my social media channels at once. Imagine what it would take for me to schedule something to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, each individually. I literally pull in the photograph, I put in the copy, I put in the hashtags, I can grab it, emoji, put it in there. If I have a really long link, it'll shorten it for me. And then I just click, I want it on my Instagram, on my Facebook, and maybe on my private Facebook page, and then maybe on my LinkedIn, boom, 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 boom. And then I press draft, or I schedule for a certain date, and it goes out for me. It is amazing. And then the app that I love to use is WordSwag. This is a really great app, and you can use this to create a lot of your graphic content. So what you do is you choose a background, you can choose an image, but it also gives you tons of images. Like you can put in their beach or whatever else you want, warehouse or whatever, and it brings that in, and then you put in your copy, you choose your font, and then you even choose the size. Do you want it for Twitter? Do you want it for LinkedIn? And it spits it out. You can go back and say, okay, I'm going to make an Instagram size now. It spits it out. Makes it so easy. There's not really a big learning curve to using this. I use this when I'm waiting at the dentist office, when I'm in the car line and I'm waiting for my kids to get in the car. I'm designing quotes and social media posts. It's great for also like any types of tips. Really, really, really easy to use. I fell in love with this app. I hope that you will too. All these apps have made it so much simpler. At least just go in and play around with them. They're totally worth it. So we've come to the end of this webinar. I'd love to answer. I know we went just a little bit over. I'm sorry, but I hope all this information was really helpful. I'd love to connect with you guys, and then I'd love to answer any kind of questions. If you can put your questions in the chat, Jonathan's going to throw them at me. Feel free to email me. You can see my agency website too, and then you can follow me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Kasha. We do have a couple questions coming in. One I'm seeing is, how would you recommend finding a beginner photographer for professional photos? And then what would be a decent price for photos of, for instance, a yoga retreat center?
Okay, good question. I would start off with putting it on your Facebook page, because there's a lot of people there that have family members that are trying to get into the photography industry. Secondly, I would see if there are any photography groups around you on Facebook in your area. And third, I would contact the colleges that are around you. Go to your local college, because we know that they have a photography classes there, and there's probably aspiring photographers there that will not charge much. When you're asking me how much that would cost, I would say we have to take into consideration a lot of pieces. Does the person have to drive to the yoga retreat? Are they going to have to come back and forth? Do you want your images processed in a certain way? Do you just want them taken, or do you want them to actually photograph the images? How many days is the yoga retreat? I would say, there is the time of the photographer to drive, the time of the photographer to actually set up, the time for them to take the pictures, and then the time for them to process the pictures, and then the time for them to get the images back to you. So it's not just the time of taking it. But I know that a lot of photographers start about $150 just for a session. And then, purchasing the photographs goes into that. I would definitely have a conversation with them up front, because a lot of times they're like, well, we'll print those images for you, or there is some kind of licensing to those images. So say, hey, will you charge me this amount, but can I have a license to all these images so I can use it on my social media? I can use it on my website. So I hope that answered your question.
Another one we get a lot, which isn't in the chat today, but I'm sure a lot of people are wondering about hashtags. And, when do you use hashtags? How many do you use? What channels do they work really well on? Do you make your own? Are there ones that you should research before you use? Things like that. So just give you an opportunity to talk about that for a minute.
That's a good question. You're right. We do get that a lot. So hashtag use is really interesting. What we want to look at that is that we're indexing our content. So if somebody is looking for, I don't know, a pet sitter or something, they're using that hashtag to look for you. So you want to index yourself like that. When it comes to LinkedIn and Facebook, we really don't want to use too many because it takes over the copy. So we want to maybe use up to 5 to 6, maybe at most. Instagram, you can use a lot more. There is a hashtag finder that will bring up all the hashtags for you. You can just Google that hashtag finder, and you can put in one hashtag in there, and it'll bring up every hashtag that is associated with that hashtag, and then also the most popular hashtag around that topic at that specific time. But you don't want to go too crazy with them, because it's just going to take over you really want the copy to be the pieces that are standing there. And then just go ahead and index that copy or index that topic. Jonathan, anything else you would add to it?
Yeah, we definitely recommend researching your hashtags if you're going to use something that's not very common. We've had instances where companies will want to use a hashtag, and then they'll start searching it on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn, and they'll find content that's very, very different from the intent that they have by using that hashtag. In some cases, things that they don't want to be associated with at all. And so by researching the hashtag first, by just typing it into the search bar of each of the different social channels you want to use, you're going to find what that conversation is about. And so sometimes there's an existing conversation there, and you don't want to put yourself in the middle of that conversation necessarily. The other thing is it's good to include sort of a mix of sort of 3 types of hashtags. I like to think of it as your branded hashtag. So if you have a hashtag with your company name in it, and then industry hashtags. So where do you fit within your industry? What are some common terms in there? So whether it's a certain type of restaurant or a certain type of like real estate or decor, a consulting service, a lawyer, what have you, and then topical hashtags. So if you're at an event, or if there's a holiday, or if it's just Motivation Monday or what have you, including that if it applies.
Thank you.
So there's a question: should you post sort of from Instagram to Facebook or back and forth, or even across channels? What's sort of a good policy there?
That's a really good question. So first, it depends if you have a scheduling tool. If you have Hootsuite, then you don't have to worry about it because it'll do it for you. We don't work with Hootsuite, like we just use that. But there's other softwares like Later and what are the couple others, Jonathan? Later and
Social Studio, which is tied to the Marketing Cloud.
There's tons of them out there.
There's also Sprinkler. Sprinkler's the Cadillac of scheduling services. They'll manage the whole thing A to Z. Ads, you can manage ads through there. You can see all the metrics and arrange it anywhere you like. But again, they're kind of pricey.
Yeah. And you want to make sure, like, because there's another one that I really liked, but they don't support LinkedIn right now. So then I'm like, well, I can't use that. LinkedIn is like my main target audience. So I wasn't able to use them. The other part of the question was, should I post through Facebook into Instagram or the other way around? I will say yes, but so I definitely do that, especially for my personal. I post to Instagram and it posts directly to Facebook for me, and same with my stories. I go back and forth, or I'll post a story to Facebook and it goes straight into my Instagram. Now, we did find out that whenever you're posting videos, for instance, that it makes a lot more sense to post natively to Facebook instead of a link from YouTube to Facebook. You will get a lot more engagement. And the reason is because Facebook and YouTube are competitors. And so Facebook and Instagram, they're the same. They're owned by the same company. So the transition is a lot easier. But when you're posting any types of videos, it's definitely best to do it natively. Especially on Facebook, you get a lot more engagement.
And we've had instances with clients where they'll have two very distinct audiences. They'll have an audience that is a consumer who wants to buy their product for instance, we work with a tile company that would want to use that tile in their home, but then they had a very separate audience that was the designers and the architects who were building homes, but they weren't going to be living there. So they would separate those audiences by the channels that they use. So they would really talk to their architects and their designers, that audience that they were selling their products to, over LinkedIn. And they'd meet some designers on Instagram, but they found that those people weren't on Facebook. So they really had to, they were really talking to their consumer audience there, who were going to be maybe designing their own home or just remodeling. They were finding those people on Facebook. So it made sense for them to create some content that was geared toward their designers and post that on LinkedIn, and then separate content for their consumers and post that on Facebook. And then Instagram actually had a mix of both. So they were able to post almost everything on Instagram and reach both audiences. Next question. Oh, yeah, back to hashtags. They really started on Twitter as, like Kasha was saying, as a way to index conversation. So when you use a hashtag in a post, it becomes clickable so that people can, with one click, enter that sort of stream of that conversation and see every time it's been used. And places like Twitter specifically will highlight trending hashtags, which is really, really valuable. If there is a conversation that you want to be a part of and it's trending, that's the time to get in on it. I believe Instagram also uses the hashtags to populate that discovery page of theirs, where you start to search for something and then it brings up a bunch of other things you might be interested in. And like Kasha said, you can use a ton of hashtags on Instagram. It doesn't matter. I think they allow you to use up to 30. But it's just a way for people to discover more content.
Yeah, I just wouldn't get too stuck on it, because then you're spending a lot of time looking for a bunch of hashtags. We do repeat a bunch of hashtags because, again, the industry hashtags, and then maybe there's something, a hashtag with your business name, just continue to use it a lot. And then make sure that anybody that maybe is part of the business or event or whatever continues to use that hashtag too.
Yeah. If you have that one branded hashtag and a couple of industry hashtags, so those are your three that you use all the time. And then maybe you'll use a topical hashtag or an event hashtag or something on top of it, then you're good for the most part. And Kash, I kind of wanted, you were saying, don't get caught up in the hashtags. And I think, one of the big messages of the webinar, as well as the course, is, sometimes we start spinning our wheels and we get like really concerned and anxious about social media. But when you were saying post 3 times a week, high quality, as opposed to posting 5 times a week and then stressing out, things like hashtags are that extra 10 or 15% that might, put you in front of a handful of more people. But the real crux of high quality content is the visual and the copy, and are they appealing, and are they geared toward your audience? Are they authentic? Do they really have something to do with your brand and the product or service that you're offering? And then is it consistent? So when people come back to your page, or when they're searching for you online and they stumble across your Instagram and Twitter, and are those things the same? So if I find you on Twitter and I find you on LinkedIn, do I know that both of them are you? That consistency really helps as well. It's super essential.
And I mean, I've pulled back on my social content posting too. It got too much, and got busy with business. But again, I just continue to do it consistently. Like, just post at least 2 times a week, and then come back to it whenever I can. Or maybe there's something that I'm giving away around my business, or maybe there's an event that we're prepping for. And you can create content and you don't have to post it right away. Like, you can create content around something, an event, or your product being made, or you don't feel like you have to post it that minute.
Yeah. So another question is, if you have a very unique product, is there a way to find someone to promote it on social media? And then is there a way to share sales with them? And I'm not knowing the product, I'm sort of wondering if this has to do with affiliate marketing. Kasia, maybe you can speak to affiliate marketing a little bit. I know that you participate in that, or whether it's about hiring an agency, I guess.
Or is it like using an influencer?
Or using an influencer, exactly.
What I'm thinking.
If you want to talk about affiliate marketing and influencer marketing for a minute, that can help give them some guidance there.
Yeah, and I can even talk about mommy bloggers. We've done that before too, but it depends again on the product and how it's set up. With the mommy bloggers, this was kind of fun. We hired a mommy blogger manager, and she had, like, I don't know, 200-300 mommy bloggers in the DFW area underneath her, and they were going to get a $50 gift card to go to a restaurant and take a picture with a beer and some guacamole. It was really fun, and they all loved it because they were able to go out and take their family out to eat and do something fun. So there's that. There's also using influencers in the social space. So you have 3 types of influencers. There's the ones that have about 10,000 followers. There's the ones that are from 10,000 to 100,000. And then there's the ones that have like 1 million. We have seen, with the 1 million, we've seen contracts for $500,000 to post like 6 posts. Obviously, that's a big brand spending a lot of money, but there are opportunities for these smaller influencers who have a niche, because the big ones that have all those followers, it's not always guaranteed that that's you're an audience. There's just a lot of people. But we have worked, for instance, looking for influencers in the beer industry only in the Dallas area. They have much less followers. The cost, to work with them is either very minimal or a trade sometimes for a product. And they can definitely hit your target audience because they're in that niche. You can always just reach out to somebody and say, hey, do you have like a case study, a brief? How much do you charge? Would you be willing to take trade for that? For sure. I mean, that happens a lot. Jonathan, anything else you would add to that?
Yeah, it's a good point you bring up about the sort of the different transactions you can use with influencers.
Yeah, not everybody always has to get paid.
Yeah, and when you say unique product, again, I don't know the product, but sometimes getting involved with a niche influencer, so sometimes they're considered micro influencers or nano influencers. Maybe their following isn't very big. It could be several thousand people or 10,000 people, even at the max. And but their audience is very specific. And this kind of goes back to what Kasia was saying about, having a very targeted audience in mind when you're marketing yourself and marketing your business. That influencers cultivated this very small target audience that may be perfect for your product. And because their following isn't very big, the price tag there may not be big, but working with them to determine that price point would be the first step. Just reaching out and saying, hey, I'd really like to work with you and have you post on my behalf, and then work out the terms from there. It wouldn't even be a profit sharing or anything like that. It would be more about paying them almost like a fee or a commission. But then affiliate marketing, you would do some profit sharing, right, Kasha?
Yeah, and I would say if you're going to start going down that direction, I would definitely have an outline of what that looks like. I've seen even certain speakers online that will have a website just for affiliate marketing. And if during the time that I'm selling, my online, products or courses or whatever, it actually outlines exactly like what the steps are, what the part of the profit you get, and are there any bonuses or anything else like that. So definitely build that structure up first. And then again, it depends on the business, but you can always ask, even on Facebook, like, is anybody interested in doing this with me? And push it out that way and say, hey, great opportunities here. Or again, look for those people that have an audience where your target market is. Don't just look at the amount of their followers.
Mm-hmm.
I just recently watched this movie. Oh, what the heck is it called? It's like Fake Famous, I think. It's really good. And it talks about,
I know the title.
oh my gosh. And it talks about, it's a social media experiment. So of course I watched it. I was like, ooh. And it's saying that a lot of the people that do have like hundreds and thousands of followers, a lot of those are bots and they're purchased. So they took an ordinary person and they're like, can we make them fake famous on social media? And it worked. And it worked. So definitely go through and make sure that exactly who their audience is. And, maybe there's a way too that you can work together. Like I belong to a women's networking group and they push my business. I push their business. I send them referrals. They send me referrals. And then we also post on stories and they tag me and say, the other way around. So I'm on their podcasts and likewise. So you can always look at networking groups too. Those are great.
Yeah, and kind of going a little more into finding some influencers, going back to the hashtags that you're using that are industry hashtags, if you can, as you're researching those hashtags that you want to use for your industry, finding people that are already using them, that have big followings, that aren't already affiliated with someone else. If they're using a hashtag that you're frequently using as well, and they're just out there influencing, connecting with them and reaching out and asking them if they want to join up with you and what their rates are and things like that, is the way to go. Really just using that sort of discovery on social media to find those people is as effective as anything else.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions?
Yeah, are there any other questions? I don't see anything new here.
Thanks everyone for joining.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, if you have any other questions that come up later that are related to your business, please reach out to us. We're happy to chat and give you, our advice, recommendations, or even just speak from our experience.
Tim, I'm going to drop your email address in the chat one more time in case anybody needs it.
Kasha, Jonathan, I certainly appreciate you guys. It was a wonderful, wonderful webinar. And thanks again, Kasha and Jonathan.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
All right. Wonderful. Everybody, have a good day.
Thank you.
Thanks.